I want to take you back to December 25th, 1967, in a house in the town of Gales Ferry, Connecticut. That Christmas morning, Bobby, my childhood name, woke up with his 2-year-old sister, excited for opening presents. As a 5-year-old child, I remember the magic of Christmas morning. Waking up and running into the living room of our 3-bedroom house that my dad had built. My bedroom was at the end of a long hallway. My parents' bedroom was on the right, and my younger sister was on the left. The bathroom was on the right after my parents' room, and at the end of the hallway was the kitchen with 2 openings into the living room. On the left, from the end of the kitchen, there were stairs which, just before the kitchen on the right side, led down to our unfinished basement. Running into the living room that Christmas morning, the tree lit up with lights, baubles, and tinsel hung down, and presents wrapped in colorful paper under the tree. It gave a magical quality. My parents were tired, and per our family tradition, we had to have breakfast first, and then we were able to open Christmas presents. The one present that sticks out to this day was a Spaceman G.I. Joe toy with his own Mercury spacecraft. Even at the age of 5, I loved space. Of course, in those days, NASA was in the news a lot with Project Mercury had just completed, and Project Gemini was underway. Everyone was talking about Project Apollo and sending humans to the moon. I loved to play with the spacecraft, pretending I was riding in the rocket into Earth orbit. To be fair, at that age, in addition to space, I was into Matchbox cars. I loved to play outside in the dirt and build roads and then drive my little cars around. At this time in my life, my dad was a builder. He owned a company called Ledger Building and Development. And he owned a number of large construction equipment such as dump trucks, bucket loaders, bulldozers, and a backhoe. So his work in building roads and subdivisions probably rubbed off on me a little at that time in my life. I was woken up from a deep sleep late in the evening of July 20th, 1969, by my parents to come watch something. Something was happening on TV. As I sat in front of our black and white console TV with built-in record player and radio, something historic was happening. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had landed their spacecraft on the surface of the moon. You could tell this was something special, and my dad, with his Polaroid camera, took a picture of the TV screen showing Neil Armstrong taking his historic first steps on the lunar surface. I don't remember how much longer the 7-year-old me stayed up that morning, but I was really excited. I wanted to watch everything about space. I remember watching Walter Cronkite reporting with his science reporter, Jules Bergman, using crude models of the Apollo spacecraft and lunar lander to walk us through everything that was happening, and I ate everything up. They said, my uncle Tommy, my mom's brother, worked for RCA near Trenton, New Jersey. He helped design the TV camera that was used on the new lunar rover for NASA. He would travel to the Kennedy Space Center to hand deliver his critical component, and he would bring me back NASA pictures and patches from the Apollo missions. Some of these mementos I still have to this day. From a hill, I looked south to see if I could spot the giant Saturn V moon rocket. I thought I could just make it out at the tip of it. However, it turned out to be power lines. Alas, the Kennedy Space Center in Florida was just a little too far for this 8-year-old kid to see from southeastern Connecticut. I did receive a Saturn V model rocket that my mom and I put together. It even had a lunar lander tucked away just below the command module. By the time I turned 10, the Apollo program was ending, and NASA was turning away from the moon and returning to low Earth orbit, LEO. for its next major project to try and live and work in space. However, as a transition, they launched Skylab, NASA's first space station, and 3 crews rotated through it and learned how to live and work in space. NASA also launched a mission to dock with a Russian capsule in orbit to show the world that 2 adversaries could work together to advance knowledge and experiences in space. NASA was also starting to design and develop the next big project called the Space Shuttle. And though I didn't know it, I would one day play a big role in that program.